Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 1079. The Hardworking Gardeners. Above the gray fog, Klein, who was sitting at the fool's seat, beckoned for the unshadowed crucifix. The bronze cross was tied together with an ordinary-looking button, and the surface of the latter was already covered with a layer of crystalline but heavy-feeling particles. This was the Hermit Catle's judge button. It was reserved for Judgment Zio at a price of £3,500. Therefore, Admiral of Stars had sacrificed it to Mr. Fool in advance, requesting the mighty existence to get an angel under him to shatter it. And on Monday's tarot gathering, Zio had made a reservation for the Judge Potion formula at a price of £2,000. According to their agreement, Justice Audrey wasn't to share anything they obtained from exploring Grozel's travels, other than knowledge. She was only providing free help for the world-killing Vin Rambus. As for the Star Leonard, he had the right to sell the potion formulas and historical knowledge, but obviously, Judgment Zio trusted the world Gehrman Sparrow more. The purging should be almost done. This way, I can trade the unshadowed crucifix with Little Sun without any worries. In the future, if there are other similar requests, they'll definitely be more willing to trade with Little Sun, instead of asking Mr. Fool for help. No one will dare frequently disturb a hidden existence, unless there's really no other way. When Little Sun has the chance to become a demigod and transform the unshadowed crucifix into a special characteristic, I should be a Sequence 3. I'll be able to use the power of this mysterious space above the gray fog to shatter sealed artifacts. After the disinfection process of the gray fog, Adam probably wouldn't be able to rely on the unshadowed crucifix to lock onto Little Sunday. However, even if he were able to find it through this, it wouldn't be too serious. His brother, Amon, knew long ago that Little Sun is related to Mr. Fool. Yes, it seems that Amon can freely enter and leave the forsaken land of the gods. I wonder if that's also the case for Adam. As Klein separated the unshadowed crucifix from the button that had begun to praise the sun, he looked at the beyonder characteristic that had been purged while waiting for Little Sun to hold the sacrificial and bestowment ceremony. The City of Silver, within the spire. Derek Berg had finished setting up the ritual. He watched as a black, mud-covered doll approached with a wooden cane which looked like nothing special, and he placed it on the altar. After a serious prayer and doing some work, the illusory sacrifice and bestowment door opened and took away Life's cane, leaving behind a bronze-green and spiky cross. At the same time, the name of the cross suddenly appeared in Derek's mind, including information of its usage and its negative effects. He suppressed his excitement, and first thanked Mr. Fool before ending the ritual. He walked to the front of the altar, picked up the unshadowed crucifix, and scrutinized it repeatedly. After tidying up, Derek left and went to a room opposite and knocked on the chief's door. "Come in." Colin Iliad's deep voice rang out. Derek turned the doorknob, pushed open the door, walked in, and openly revealed the bronze cross. "Your Excellency, this is the item left behind by the Lord I previously mentioned. It's called the unshadowed crucifix. The method is to let the spikes on it be stained with the blood of the holder." He had deliberately changed the term, relic, to the item left behind. The white-haired Colin had already cast his gaze over when Derek took out the ancient cross. After listening to the introduction, he walked towards it with heavy steps. He took the item and kept examining it. Finally, Colin Iliad placed his thumb on a thorn and allowed fresh blood to flow out. The mottled bronze green started to peel away as the unshadowed crucifix revealed a physical body formed from pure light, illuminating the entire room without any trace of darkness. After an indescribable sacred feeling filled the surrounding area, Colin released his fingers and sighed. This is indeed the Lord's item. Although he was born in an era more than 2,000 years since the City of Silver was forsaken, making it impossible for them to sense the aura of God, this city still had quite a few things that were used to offer sacrifices to the Creator. Every time the black-faced grass was harvested, they would be taken out and used in the ritual. Through a comparison with these items, Colin Iliad could almost confirm the origins of the cross. Derek had wanted to give a response, but the heavy tone in the chief's words suddenly pressed down on his heart, preventing him from speaking. Colin Iliad didn't make any further comments, and just stood there silently with the unshadowed crucifix in hand. After a few seconds, the City of Silver Chief broke the silence, and said with a slightly hoarse voice, "The return of the Lord's item is a sign. We shall welcome the sign of dawn. I will hold on to this unshadowed crucifix for half a day. I want to gather all the elders in the city to present this item to them. Heh, even I can't casually deal with a saint-level sealed artifact. Since I lost life's cane, I have to explain it to the other elders and request to be punished. You must remember that, as chief, you must have the courage to shoulder the corresponding responsibilities. You can't avoid punishment just because you think that it's good for the City of Silver. You might be right this time, but you can't guarantee that you're always right. Don't worry. This unshadowed crucifix will eventually return to you." The chief's words are deep and profound. I'll get Mr. Hangman to explain it to me at the next tarot gathering. Derek instinctively wanted to raise his right hand and scratch the back of his head, but in the end, he endured it and informed Colin Iliad of the negative effects of the unshadowed crucifix. Backlund North Borough, 160 Beauclund Street. Klein sacrificed Winter and Annie above the grey fog to ensure marionette preservation. This was to make it convenient for him to use him in the future. He planned on getting Earl of the Fallen Kona's Kilgore to wear the Flower of Blood ring and wield life's cane. In day-to-day life, he would create some harrowing and bizarre situations from time to time, helping him expedite the digestion of his potion. This way, Anani had no way of using Flower of Blood to hide in Kona's Kilgore's stomach. He needed to hide in a more concealed manner, making it rather troublesome. Therefore, Klein decided to simply leave him above the grey fog. After all, Klein could create ordinary marionettes anytime he wanted. Why does the action of placing a marionette in a preservation cabinet to keep fresh feel odd? It's not like I'm acting in a horror movie. However, this does fit the name of Bizarro Sorcerer a bit. The angel from the Antigonus and Zeridal family all hang up their marionettes to wind dry. So I'm much better than them. After rubbing his chin, Klein stuffed the ordinary wood-colored cane into a specially made cane he bought through misjudgment. The cane was hollow, and it could be used to contain a sword that wasn't considered too wide. It was perfect for hiding life's cane. After he was done with this work, he allowed the servant who looked like Anani, who was actually Kona's, to take away his cane and return to the room next door. He washed up himself before getting into bed. While sleeping soundly in a pleasant, relaxed state, Klein's spiritual perception suddenly stirred. He abruptly sat up and cast his gaze at the attached balcony. The curtains weren't fully drawn, and he could see the situation outside. It was dark green outside the window with vine leaves, and flowers were growing all over the place in layers. This made him suspect that he had been transported to the forest. The corners of his mouth twitched as he vaguely guessed what was going on. He rolled out of bed and walked to the balcony, drawing the curtains open. What entered his vision was no longer the garden in the residence of Dwayne Dantes. Instead, it was a lush forest. This is what it means to make the surrounding area become filled with a vibrant life force. Be it animals or plants, they're all flourishing and growing rapidly. Isn't this a little too fast? Klein's expression instantly turned a little blank. Previously, when he had divined that the life's cane's negative effects, he had seen similar scenes. However, the revelation he received was that it wasn't harmful to the surrounding area. Thus, he believed that the growing and proliferation process took a fairly long period of time and could be effectively controlled, allowing one to pay no attention to it for a very, very long time before seeing such a scene. With this thought in mind, he observed all the spirit-body threads in the surrounding area. He realized that humans weren't affected at all, but the number of rats and cockroaches was clearly increasing. This result made him heave a sigh of relief. He looked out of the window at the forest and sighed silently. Indeed, there isn't much danger. It's just quite exaggerated. I still have to keep it above the gray fog most of the time. More than 10 seconds later, figures appeared within the forest. Some of them were very thin, and others were thick. They all wore black trench coats, and their faces were very flat. They had no eyes, noses, and mouths. These figures were either crouching or standing, busy burning weeds, cutting the vines, and removing the unnecessary flowers in the quiet night. The next morning, butler Walter woke up as usual and opened the window. The garden outside was bathed in the morning fog. There was some dew that gathered, emitting a fresh scent. Better than yesterday. Walter nodded slightly and praised the two gardeners. The vibrant scene made him feel a little restless as he began missing his wife for no apparent reason, so he left the room to patrol the estate and made arrangements for all sorts of affairs. Finally, he waited at the entrance of the dining room. Not long after, his employer, Dwayne Dantes, led his valet, Anuni, down from the third floor. Walter went forward to bow and talked about today's arrangements before taking the initiative to mention it. "Sir, I would like to take 1 day leave from the current month's allowance." As he spoke, he suddenly saw the mixed-blood servant's neck split open, revealing a black eye. Walter was shocked and nearly tumbled backward. But in the blink of an eye, he realized that there was no strange eye on Anuni's neck. "It must be because I didn't sleep well last night and had a strange dream, resulting in me being distracted and having hallucinations." Walter hurriedly gathered his thoughts and lowered his head slightly. In his heart, Klein apologized and nodded. "No problem. Have a wonderful day with your family."